Recently, Emily has been feeling quite down. As a popular travel vlogger, being invited by a water park to participate in their trial operation and promotion is undoubtedly a good thing. But the problem is, her boss is William, which makes things less than ideal.
Sophia, can you make sure William doesn't participate in the filming this time? And he must keep a distance of at least 10 meters from me. No, make that 20 meters. If possible, I don't want to see him at all.
Sophia, who was organizing the filming process for her, froze and glanced at her nervously.
Emily, you.
There's no need to say anything. You have no idea what kind of person William is, nor do you know what happened between us.
Halfway through her sentence, Emily closed her eyes. Seeing her like this, Sophia felt uneasy.
Emily.
Emily shook her head, and her usually cheerful face showed a hint of sadness that Sophia couldn't understand. The atmosphere in the office suddenly became tense. Sophia had never seen Emily like this before. She held Emily's hand, unsure of what to say.
I really dislike him.
The word dislike seemed to carry more weight when it came from Emily's mouth. Sophia felt a bit panicked, but she indeed didn't know much about Emily's past, and she began to doubt whether she should help William.
Did he mistreat you before?
More than that.
She paused, then shouted with a sense of tragic anger.
William is a disaster in my life. Whenever I'm with him, I always end up in trouble.
Sophia, who had just felt guilty, now felt a bit of a heartache. However, Emily didn't notice her reaction and continued to immerse herself in painful memories.
In the second year of middle school, I forgot to bring my English book. I planned to have my mom bring it to me, but William showed up at our classroom door. He was already a mature senior in high school, yet he acted so childishly. Not only did he hold the book out of my reach, but he also ruffled my hair.
How sweet! Oh, I mean, that's a bit much. Wouldn't the teacher misunderstand?
What do you think? The homeroom teacher happened to come by. William ran off, leaving me to be scolded by the teacher for half an hour. In the end, my mom had to come in, and I barely avoided being labeled as having a premature relationship.
Getting more and more agitated, Emily put her hands on her hips.
I was just a kid. How could he treat me like that?
Narrator, tone, cheerful Sophia nodded, trying to suppress her laughter as Emily continued her rant.
In my first year of high school, he was already in college, but still came to my school. That day, my bike broke down, and I finally convinced a classmate to give me a ride. But after talking to William for a bit, my classmate's bike broke too. Can you believe that's a coincidence?
Was your classmate a boy or a girl?
A boy. He offered to take me home when my bike broke. He was so kind, but then William showed up and ruined everything. Now that I think about it, I feel bad for dragging him into it.
Narrator, tone, thoughtful. So, to this day, she still believed it was some kind of supernatural incident? Sophia finally understood why her best friend was still single. Emily didn't care what Sophia was thinking and continued.
In my second year, the school held a party. It was my last chance to have fun before senior year. Do you know what happened?
Narrator, tone, excited. William, as an outstanding alumnus, came back to participate and performed right before Emily's group. Then disaster struck again. Right after Emily got on stage, the power went out. Narrator, tone, sad. Since it was midsummer, the school canceled the party to prevent heat stroke without air conditioning. Emily's 3 months of dance practice went to waste, and to make matters worse, her classmates didn't care. They were all praising William's performance. Thinking about it now still made her sad.
Isn't it possible this was intentional?
no doubt about it. The teacher later said they wanted better lighting for William, which caused an overload. That's why I say William is a walking disaster. Sophia, do you understand my pain?
What kind of dance did you choreograph?
Well, according to my classmates, if the party had gone smoothly, I would have been the star of the show.
Narrator, tone, serious. Sophia struggled for a moment before realizing a truth. Never try to convince someone who lives in a different reality. You will lose. She sighed and pinched the bridge of her nose.
Emily, I always thought you were straightforward. Today I realize there's more to you.
Narrator, tone, confused. Emily didn't understand what she meant, but Sophia didn't explain. She slapped the project plan in front of Emily.
Don't worry, I'll make sure he doesn't come near. Let's work hard, save up enough to pay the penalty, and then we can escape together.
Narrator, tone, hopeful. Thinking about the penalty, Emily finally saw a glimmer of hope. Without William around, the photo shoot went smoothly, though the results were less than ideal.
Emily, you don't seem to be in the zone today.
I'm sorry. I just can't focus today.
The shoot was temporarily halted. William checked on the progress, ensuring he was more than 20 meters away from Emily. After reviewing the photos, he looked up at her.
Tell me, what are you looking for?
I don't know.
Almost every shot has your gaze drifting off camera. What's over there that's so captivating?
Emily lowered her head, accepting his criticism. James stepped in to smooth things over.
It's not that bad. Don't scare her.
This is work. Why do you keep looking over there? What's so interesting?
Then, as if having an epiphany, William's expression brightened.
I think I was standing there the whole time. Emily, were you looking for me?
I wasn't. I didn't.
Emily instinctively denied it, but then guiltily realized it might be true. William calmly cleared his throat.
Oh dear, my throat hurts. I don't have the strength to talk.
He picked up a megaphone and loudly announced.
Emily, if you can't feel at ease without seeing me, just say so. Don't be shy.
James held back his laughter to save Emily's face. Sophia covered her mouth, shoulders shaking.
Grr.
Emily adjusted her mindset before resuming the shoot. William sat next to the cameraman, grinning smugly.
Mr. William, maybe you should step back a bit? It's somewhat affecting the shoot.
What's the problem?
The look of wanting to cut someone can't be hidden.
William, how much disdain have you faced to be so indifferent to Emily's glares?
Emily burst into laughter. The cameraman seized the moment to capture several natural shots.
All right, we're done for the day. In a way, Mr. Williams' presence did serve a purpose.
After completing all other projects, only the water slide was left. It was the highlight of the water park, with a thrilling drop that ended in a high splash into the water.
This height is quite scary. Emily, if you're afraid, you don't have to do it yourself.
It's fine. I'm known for my bravery in the industry.
Oh, really? So your racing heart isn't because you're scared?
His words instantly created a tense atmosphere. James didn't understand, but his intuition told him that William was up to no good again. William just smiled silently, curious about how Emily would react. Surprisingly, Emily was calmer than he expected. After all, she had experienced William's sharp tongue many years ago. Once the camera crew set up their equipment by the pool, Emily began her performance. This level of excitement was nothing to her. Her heart didn't race as much as it did when William annoyed her. From the slide to the water entry, the camera followed Emily the entire time. The splash angle was perfect, and James and Sophia huddled by the monitor, discussing the upcoming promotional work, while the cameraman checked the video's smoothness. The water park staff brought out the pre-prepared cold drinks, ready to celebrate once Emily emerged from the water. However, as the waves calmed, Emily was nowhere to be seen.
The impact of entering the water is quite strong, so it takes time to resurface. Don't worry, our safety nets are very sturdy.
Everyone nodded, not saying much more, except for William, who stared intently at the water. 3 seconds later, he sprinted towards where Emily had entered the water. Seeing him so anxious, Sophia also panicked, thinking that Emily shouldn't be in trouble with such a project.
Her swimsuit had many ties, which, while cute, got tangled in the safety net at the crucial moment. She could have resurfaced normally, but the ties got caught, preventing her from freeing herself. She couldn't reach behind her back.
The feeling of suffocation grew stronger, and her strength waned. Even at this moment, she had the presence of mind to mock herself. Who would have thought that Emily, who feared nothing, would be trapped by a mere swimming pool? Someone, please save her. It was getting harder to hold on. As time ticked by, Emily's ears were filled with the sound of her own rapid heartbeat, and she had no strength left to struggle. She gave up on self-rescue, hoping the people on the shore would notice her soon. After all, she could still be saved. Just as she instinctively tried to breathe, a figure dove into the water. Seeing William, Emily wasn't surprised at all. Despite his flaws, he was still William. William, on the other hand, wasn't as calm. Seeing Emily's swimsuit ties tangled, he tried to untangle them but to no avail. He couldn't just take off her top. Emily was beyond thinking, completely exhausted. William, seeing this, silently apologized. When William jumped into the water, Sophia wanted to follow but was stopped by James.
Don't go down recklessly, or you'll make things worse.
But Emily!
As Sophia began to cry, the water finally broke. William emerged, holding Emily. After taking a few deep breaths, he said to James,
Get a towel, turn off all the cameras, and call 911.
James immediately made the call, and Sophia hurried to get a towel. Emily coughed violently for a while before regaining her senses. She stared at William's face for a moment, then she burst into tears without warning. Emily, who was usually fearless, was genuinely scared this time. She clung to William's neck, crying loudly, startling the staff by the pool. William held Emily's back, slowly swimming towards the edge, his face dark but his words gentle.
Don't be afraid, it's okay. Emily, just hold on a little longer.
I can't hold on anymore.
Emily sobbed, instinctively tightening her grip, drawing more warmth from William. Emily, who usually loved to show off, couldn't care less about her pride now, showing just how frightened she was. William turned his head and gently rubbed his cheek against Emily's temple.
All right, then just hold me. You don't need to worry about anything.
Emily's shoulders shook as she mumbled a soft ahem. That soft, tender sound, unique to a young girl, was something William hadn't heard in a long time. He closed his eyes and smiled. His breath on the back of Emily's neck brought her back to her senses. Realizing she was pressed against William's neck, she suddenly felt too embarrassed to face anyone. She quickly lifted her head and, to hide her blush, buried her face in her arm.
That was scary. I almost thought.
Don't say that. With me here, nothing will happen to you.
William noticed her movements and found it amusing. When they reached the poolside, he didn't rush to get out. Only when he saw Sophia running over with a towel did he reach out to take it. Feeling even more embarrassed with so many people watching, Emily tried to wriggle out of William's embrace, but he held her tighter.
Don't move.
William whispered in her ear, draping the towel over her shoulders and wrapping it securely before slowly letting go. As soon as his hand left her back, Emily felt her swimsuit loosen, completely untied and floating freely. When did her swimsuit? So William had been covering her back too. Her shocked and embarrassed expression, tinged with awkwardness, made William secretly sigh in relief.
The strap got tangled, so I had to break it.
Maybe it was the water in her ears, but William's voice sounded unexpectedly magnetic to Emily, like electronic music. How could it sound so nice? Emily, with her watery eyes, stared blankly at William, as if she didn't recognize him. Being stared at like that, William couldn't help but lower his head. But as he got close to her forehead, he suddenly stopped, cleared his throat awkwardly, and straightened up.
Ahem, do you need me to carry you up?
Completely unaware of his earlier intention, Emily stubbornly shook her head.
I can do it.
Then she struggled on the ladder for quite a while. Even though there were only 2 or 3 rungs, and the water only reached her waist, she couldn't even lift her leg, let alone stand steadily. In her 20-some years of life, she had never felt so weak. She finally understood what weak in the knees really meant. The worst part was, a large group of people was watching her intently, their eyes filled with an inexplicable sense of expectation and approval, like parents watching their child take their first steps. It was suffocating. In the end, after struggling in vain, she had to whisper to William.
I can't move my arms. The towel will come loose.
You don't have to be so reserved. The faster you surrender, the less embarrassing it will be.
Before Emily could retort, he wrapped the towel more securely around her, lifted her horizontally, and handed her to Sophia and James before getting out of the water himself.
Emily, are you okay? Does your head hurt?
Wrapped in the towel, Emily couldn't stand up or push Sophia's hand away.
It doesn't hurt, and no water got in.
Hearing this, Sophia finally relaxed. Emily wasn't sure if it was her imagination, but it seemed like what reassured Sophia was the latter part of her sentence. Seeing that Emily was fine, James also felt like joking with William.
Buddy, don't keep that cold face. You'll freeze the whole pool, and you don't want to chill the kids.
William knew he was being reminded and tried to soften his expression. Just as he was about to carry Emily away, she moved aside.
What are you doing?
Do you want to continue lying by the pool like a cocoon baby, watching the sunset? At least cocoons can turn into butterflies. Your cocoon is empty.
Thanks, that was offensive. Narrator, tone, serious Sophia felt a bit panicked, not knowing much about Emily's past. She began to doubt whether she should help William.
Did he treat you badly before?
Emily, tone, sad more than that.
Emily paused, then shouted with a sense of tragic anger.
Emily, tone, shouting William is a disaster in my life. Whenever I'm with him, I always end up in trouble.
Narrator, tone, sad Sophia, who had just felt guilty, now felt a bit of a heartache. However, Emily didn't notice her reaction and continued to immerse herself in painful memories.
Emily, tone, sad in the 2nd year of middle school, I forgot to bring my English book. I planned to have my mom bring it to me, but William showed up at our classroom door. He was already a mature senior in high school, yet he acted so childishly. Not only did he hold the book out of my reach, but he also ruffled my hair.
Sophia, tone, cheerful, how sweet. Oh, I mean, that's a bit much. Wouldn't the teacher misunderstand?
Emily, tone, unfriendly, what do you think? The homeroom teacher happened to come by. William ran off, leaving me to be scolded by the teacher for half an hour.
In the end, my mom had to come in, and I barely avoided being labeled as having an inappropriate relationship.
Getting more and more agitated, Emily put her hands on her hips.
Emily, tone, angry, I was just a kid. How could he treat me like that?
Narrator, tone, excited Sophia screamed, startling Emily. Before she could react, the juice cup in her hand was taken away.
Sophia, tone, curious Emily, you've got guts. Did Mr. William do something heroic to save you? Tell me, what happened in the water?
Narrator, tone, excited she pointed her index finger back and forth between her and Emily's lips, regretting not jumping into the water herself to get the first-hand scoop.
Emily, tone, serious Sophia, what are you expecting? Nothing happened. We just.
Narrator, tone, shy halfway through her sentence, she swallowed her words under Sophia's intense gaze and refused to speak no matter how much Sophia pressed. Narrator, tone, cheerful but there was no gossip that Sophia couldn't dig up. Narrator, tone, hopeful after all, she had helped Emily change clothes earlier, and the swimsuit strap seemed to be broken. Plus, Emily's current posture with her arms crossed.
Sophia, tone, cheerful Emily, are you embarrassed? You must be falling.
Narrator, tone, shy before she could finish, Emily covered her mouth tightly.
Emily, tone, serious thanks, but I don't want to fall again.
Narrator, tone, cheerful Sophia laughed, her eyes forming crescents. At that moment, James approached.
James, tone, serious Sophia, we need to align on some work matters. Can you come over?
Sophia, tone, cheerful sure. Hee, you have a good rest.
Narrator, tone, serious after Sophia and James walked away, Emily continued to daydream, completely unaware of the movement behind her. The more she thought, the more her head hurt, so she lay down on the beach chair. A shadow blocked the light in her vision.
William, tone, cheerful thinking about me?
Narrator, tone, friendly William smiled nonchalantly. Despite his annoying demeanor, Emily didn't immediately retort, silently cursing herself for being so easily swayed. Narrator, tone, cheerful saving her once made him seem not so annoying in her eyes. This damn hero filter. Narrator, tone, relieved her troubled expression instantly dispelled the dark clouds in William's heart. He bent down, looking at Emily's smiling face.
William, tone, cheerful so deep in thought, are you thinking about me?
Narrator, tone, shy this time, Emily couldn't find the words to retort. William sat beside her, wishing he could transform into a CT scanner to check her thoroughly.
William, tone, serious the work here is done. I'll take you to the hospital later.
Emily, tone, serious, no need. I'm really fine.
Narrator, tone, cheerful although her pouting was indeed cute, William couldn't let her have her way.
William, tone, serious no, what if you inhaled water and got pneumonia? A checkup would be reassuring.
Narrator, tone, serious before he could finish, Emily suddenly turned around, her expression unexpectedly serious.
Emily, tone, serious I'm not going.
Narrator, tone, friendly William was stunned for a moment, then understood and softened.
William, tone, hopeful okay, we won't go, but you have to promise me one thing.
Emily, tone, unfriendly, is this a threat? What if I don't agree?
William, tone, cheerful most people repay life-saving grace with their lives. I don't need that, but I shouldn't be treated like this, right?
Narrator, tone, cheerful he leaned on the beach chair, getting close to Emily. Just as she was about to push him away, he held her down.
William, tone, friendly what? Don't want me this close? You weren't like this in the water.
Narrator, tone, shy his words were like a spell, forcing Emily to recall the moment. The pool water was so cold, but his body was warm. Leaning against him made her feel secure. Narrator, tone, shy. Oh no, just thinking about it made her back feel hot, especially with William right in front of her, making her heart race. Narrator, tone, relieved, not wanting to reveal her feelings, she only wanted to escape William's gaze. Fortunately, James arrived just in time.
James, tone, serious, we can go back now.
Emily, tone, relieved, great.
Narrator, tone, cheerful. Emily agreed quickly. William smiled silently. As she fled, he whispered,
William, tone, cheerful in such a hurry, are you embarrassed?
Narrator, tone, relieved as soon as he said that. Emily slipped, unable to maintain her composure, and fled in a panic. After she left, William took out his phone from his pocket, found Emily on WeChat, and smiled thoughtfully. Around 7 in the evening, everyone left the office to go home. Sophia wanted to stay with Emily overnight, but she had something urgent to attend to.
Relieved, it's fine, I'm not that scared.
Sophia felt relieved, said goodbye, and left quickly. After such a turbulent day, Emily felt exhausted and was about to call a cab home when her phone rang. She thought Sophia had something to say, but it was an old contact she hadn't deleted years ago. 6 years had passed, and William still hadn't changed his profile picture? People like him were said to be the hardest to pursue, and it seemed true.
Cold chuckle, no wonder he's single.
Friendly, who are you calling single?
William's voice suddenly came from behind, startling Emily so much that she almost dropped her phone.
Angry, be human. Since you're here, why did you send a WeChat message?
Cheerful, I just wanted to see if you still had me on WeChat. Guess why I haven't changed my profile picture?
Unfriendly, because you're narcissistic.
To William, this was just her being shy. Since she was embarrassed, he decided to be honest.
Serious, because someone never labels their contacts. I was afraid if I changed my picture, she wouldn't recognize me. I can't bear to disappear from her world, even if she doesn't miss me at all.
Maybe it was the lighting, but William's face looked surprisingly handsome to Emily. Had his nose always been this high? Did he have some adjustments done? His jawline seemed so perfect. Oh no, her brain must be malfunctioning. Did some nerve get misplaced? Emily held her head in frustration, seriously questioning her sanity. William didn't rush her, just watched her with a serious expression. It wasn't until passers-by started giving Emily strange looks that William cupped her face and gently rubbed it.
Serious, you have 2 choices. First, I stay at your place tonight.
Angry, I choose the second one. No hospital.
Relieved, all right.
After reaching an agreement, Emily realized.
Confused, wait, why do I have to choose? Why should I listen to you?
Serious, because I'm your boss. As your boss, I have an unshirkable responsibility to ensure your safety after such a dangerous incident. I should call your family and personally deliver some compensation. I remember your father's phone number is.
Before he could dial, Emily snatched the phone from him. Her face scrunched up, and she finally agreed with tears in her eyes.
Sad, fine, I agree. Just don't tell my dad about this.
Cheerful, deal. The second choice is simple. From now on, you have to stay on a voice call with me and can't hang up.
Unfriendly, are you seriously this far gone?
Frustrated, sweetheart, don't argue with a weirdo. You'll lose.
Already defeated, Emily could only give a tired thumbs up.
Defeated, the boss is always right. Whatever the boss says goes.
Narrator, tone, cheerful. William smiled with satisfaction.
William, tone, cheerful, let's go. I'll take you home.
Narrator, tone, cheerful, they grabbed a quick bite near Emily's apartment. William shamelessly wanted to go up to her place, but she firmly refused. Narrator, tone, friendly. After closing the door, Emily's shoulders slumped. She rarely indulged in self-care, but tonight she went to bed early. Narrator, tone, serious. It was still early, and she wasn't very sleepy. She thought about relaxing with her phone, but seeing the voice call screen on WeChat dampened her mood. From start to finish, there was no sound from William's side, making her wonder if her phone was malfunctioning.
Emily, tone, serious, hello? William, are you there?
Narrator, tone, relieved. She regretted asking right after, but fortunately, William didn't respond. Just as she picked up her phone to check, a deep male voice suddenly came through.
William, tone, serious, I'm here.
Narrator, tone, surprised. Those simple words made Emily doubt her ears.
Emily, tone, cheerful. Oh heavens, is this hero filter ever going to go away? Why does even his voice sound different now? Where did the annoying William go? Come back! How can she let go of the grudge from all those years of torment?
Narrator, tone, serious. Her grinding teeth must have been loud enough for William to hear, but for once, he didn't mock her.
William, tone, serious, all right, stop overthinking. Go to sleep early. Don't hang up the call.
Emily, tone, unfriendly. Mr. William, you want me to stay calm and composed while being monitored? Isn't that asking too much?
Narrator, tone, cheerful. A muffled laugh came through the speaker. Even though it was on speakerphone, Emily felt her eardrums itch. Narrator, tone, serious. Not only that, but her heart also felt uneasy, in a way she couldn't quite explain. She analyzed it carefully and concluded it must be the clash of old grudges and newfound gratitude. As she reached this epiphany, William spoke again.
William, tone, serious, you're right. I shouldn't expect too much from you. But if you must think about something.
Narrator, tone, teasing. He paused, his teasing tone creeping into Emily's ears like a spell.
William, tone, teasing. Think about me, that's fine too.
Narrator, tone, serious. The next second, Emily covered her phone with a pillow, curling up under the blanket like a big dumpling.
Emily, tone, unfriendly. Stupid William, bad guy.
Narrator, tone, serious. It didn't take long before Emily succumbed to sleepiness. Feeling too stuffy, she poked her head out, then got too hot and turned over, gradually falling into a deep sleep. After experiencing the most despairing moment of her life during the day, it was inevitable that she dreamt of the water scene at night. The sound of water, the flickering light, and the inescapable grip filled her with fear. Narrator, tone, terrified. She swam desperately, but the surface remained out of reach. Her limbs grew tired, and the suffocating feeling overwhelmed her, making her want to cry. As she cried, she heard a voice calling her name, urgently trying to reach her.
William, tone, shouting Emily. Emily, wake up!
Narrator, tone, relieved. The voice in the water became clearer, and Emily finally recognized it as William's. She opened her eyes suddenly, gasping for air as if breaking through the water's surface. William kept calling her name, bringing her back to reality. She turned to the source of the voice. Narrator, tone, relieved. The WeChat call was still ongoing. It was him who pulled her out of the nightmare. Emily picked up her phone, staring at his profile picture for a long time, tears soaking her pillow without her noticing. Narrator, tone, serious until a knock on the door broke the silence of the night.
Emily, tone, serious. Who is it?
Narrator, tone, serious. Emily's voice was hoarse. She sat up cautiously, wondering what to do when the knocking stopped, and William's voice came through the phone.
William, tone, serious, it's me.
Emily, tone, surprised you're outside my door?
Narrator, tone, serious. There was a brief silence, followed by a bitter laugh.
William, tone, serious, I knew you'd have nightmares. I didn't want you to cry your eyes out and be unable to face anyone tomorrow.
Narrator, tone, surprised he hadn't left? Emily glanced at the time. It was already 3:30 a.m. Her mind was a mess, unable to process anything. On an impulse, she hung up the call, slipped on her slippers, and ran to open the door. Narrator, tone, serious. Sure enough, he was standing outside, his thumb still on the WeChat voice call button. They locked eyes, one with tears still in her eyes, the other with red-rimmed eyes. A full minute later, William reluctantly put down his phone.
Are you silly? How can you open the door so late at night? I didn't even hear you unlock the door. How can a girl be so careless at home? What if there was a bad person?
But you said you were at my door.
Emily regretted it. She was already feeling upset from a nightmare, and now she was being scolded by her uncle. She pouted and pretended to close the door, but William blocked her action and wiped her cheek with his other hand.
Don't rush. I'll stay and talk with you. Otherwise, you won't sleep well.
Then come in.
This made William even more eager to lecture her.
Silly Emily, how can you let a man into your room so easily? You're an adult now, do you still need to be taught? Don't give others a chance.
You're not an outsider. Why so many rules? If you don't want to come in, forget it.
William remained unmoved, though his expression was a bit peculiar. Although it wasn't the right time to show happiness, he couldn't help it.
I'm not an outsider? Then, am I an insider?
What do you think?
I could be. I don't mind.
Emily was once again shocked by his shamelessness and nodded perfunctorily.
Suit yourself. If you don't come in, I'll go back to sleep.
William said nothing more, just hugged her with one arm, pressing her face against his chest.
Sleep. If you're scared, just call me. I'll be right here, not going anywhere.
In the quiet of the night, William's heartbeat was particularly clear, and Emily's ear was close to his heart, listening to the thump, thump of his heartbeat. She suddenly remembered many things. In the pool, his heartbeat was fast, making his chest throb. Leaning on it wasn't comfortable, but it was reassuring. When William spoke, his chest would vibrate, sounding deep, as if enveloping her. She listened to him calmly arranging personnel and giving instructions, his tone steady, with no sign of panic. If she couldn't hear his heartbeat, she might have thought he wasn't nervous at all. This man is good at pretending. At that time, she couldn't think about anything else. Now, in retrospect, she found this feeling hard to let go. He was William, after all. Annoying as he was, always bringing her bad luck, he was still William. This time, Emily felt she was clear-headed. At least she knew what she was thinking and what she wanted to do. She rested her forehead against William's chest, rubbed it slightly, and wrapped her arms around his waist, sobbing softly, her voice muffled, sounding more like a whimper. But even such a faint sob was caught by William. He didn't expect Emily to act like this, but since she was willing, he didn't mind standing there forever. He gently placed his hand on her back, and when she didn't resist, he slowly hugged her tighter. Neither of them spoke, only Emily's sobs could be heard. She didn't really want to cry that much, and as for the reason, she couldn't quite explain it. If Sophia were there, she would understand. This was just Emily being affectionate. Even the toughest tree can bloom. After crying enough in William's arms, Emily tidied her hair to cover her embarrassment.
I'm really fine now. You should go back. You have work tomorrow.
Then I won't go.
You're the boss. You need to set an example.
William thought about it and found it reasonable, so he called James.
Hey, the company will have a day off tomorrow. No one needs to come to work.
James, half asleep, looked at the time on his phone and buried his face in the pillow.
Men.
Ignoring his friend's complaint, William gently rubbed Emily's forehead.
Now are you at ease? You don't have to worry about anything. I'll stay as long as you want.
Emily stared at him blankly, then slowly leaned against his chest. At this moment, she seemed to understand everything. No wonder he drove away the boys around her in school, no wonder he didn't let her perform on stage, no wonder he was so nervous about her.
William, do you like me?
You just realized?
Have you liked me for a long time?
Longer than you think.
Emily looked up into his deep eyes.
Then if I start liking you now, is it too late?
William was stunned for a moment, then slowly lowered his head and kissed her lips.
I've finally waited for you.
A night is not short, a lifetime is not long, enough for them to make up for the lost love. From then on, Star Company lost its only signed streamer and gained a boss's wife.